god, you guys, what is up? And welcome to the start of my new series, Fighting Chance, a Pokemon Origin Platinum Dicelocke. I'm gonna get into the details of the hack itself a little bit later. For now, I'm just gonna give you the rules, just so you know where we stand and what we're doing here. So the rules start out simple enough. They just start with the basic rules that make up a standard Nuzlocke. Rule number 1, if a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and must be released. Yes, this time I'm actually going to be releasing my Pokemon rather than putting them in a dead box. Because this time, as convenient as it is to have a dead box for records and whatnot, this run I just really want you to feel all the deaths that happen as much as you can feel for pixels on a screen that don't actually feel anything back for you. Anyway, rule number 2, only the first encounter in each new area is eligible for capture. So if I run into a Bidoof on the first route, and that's the first Pokemon I see, that's the only one I can catch. I can't catch the next Starly I see because I like Starly better. No, it's Bidoof time, you guys. We have a couple clauses active though. We have Dupes Clause, which means I can't catch the same Pokemon again, or anything that it evolves into or from. We have Shiny Clause active, and we can actually use any shinies we get, because they're so rare, they're basically licensed to go, oh my god, you guys, stop! Stop everything, stop! We have a shiny, everything stop! We're catching it, we're using it. Gift Pokemon we can use, but unlike the last game, they will count as the area's encounter if they're taken. So we can't just take gifts willy-nilly and then also have an encounter in the area. We can also use egg and fossil Pokemon, and they count for the area that they're hatched or revived in. So there's that. And the last clause we have is KILL ALL LEGENDARIES. Last challenge we were definitely too lenient with legendaries. This time we're not even gonna bother with them, just gonna take them all out. No legendaries, we're hard as nails, we can do this. Now the next rule is where the dice part of the Dicelocke comes into it. Rule number 3. In each new area, we are going to run a random number generator set from 1 to 40, which I guess would correspond to 2d20 if we were using real dice. And then whatever number we get, we go to the rolls list and we must follow the corresponding roll from the list immediately. The rolls list I've included in the video description below, so if you're curious to see what kind of rolls we can get in this challenge, you can have a look there. And I also have a couple of clarifications attached to this rule. Rule 3A, if a free space, or something that's effectively a free space, which basically means nothing happens if we make a certain roll. If that happens, then I may choose to re-roll once. If the next roll is also a free space, though, I can't keep re-rolling. Basically, this is in place to make sure that interesting stuff keeps happening. Because in playtesting, I would often get free spaces, and it would just result in boringness, so this gives us a higher chance of you seeing interesting, possibly bad stuff happen to me. It makes the challenge harder too. Rule 3B, there are certain roles that are marked region-wide, and if that's the case, as the name implies, you must follow those rules throughout the region until otherwise rolled. All other rolls on the list are only valid for the area in which they are generated. So, a region-wide rule is much, much harsher than any other role, basically. And Rule 3C, multiple locations sharing the same area name are counted together as a single area. This is, again, cracking down on some leniency from the previous run, where I was able to catch multiple Pokemon from the same named location because they were listed as separate catch lists in the game documentation. So, no, we're not doing that this time. Single name, single area, that's it. Now, Rule 4 is interesting. In playtesting, I found that it was hard to keep track of all the rules at any given time, so I would mess up a lot, and actually go against active rules often. So I instituted rule number 4, if at any point the player is found in violation of an active rule, the player must immediately attempt to do whatever possible to reverse the results of their infraction, and then they must run a random number generator set from 1 to 5. The corresponding numbered punishment from the punishments list has to be followed immediately. So we have a punishments list, we have 5 different punishments. Some of them are less severe than others, but they should all hopefully make up for any potential infractions. Although if the infraction is particularly severe, we just go directly to the worst punishment, number 5. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. And if I violate a punishment rule, I also have to go to that most severe punishment immediately. I may not notice all the rules violations, so if you notice a valid violation and point it out to me before the next video, then you get to choose a punishment from the list, and I have to carry it out as soon as possible. So keep an eye out, make sure I'm following the rules at all times, you're gonna help me out on this. Last but certainly not least, the challenge rules do not take effect until I receive my first Pokeballs. Pretty self-explanatory, means we don't have to worry about losing the rival battle, and we don't have to make any rolls until we actually get our Pokeballs, so yeah. Okay, I think that's all I had to say. We are about ready now to get on with the first episode, the first real episode of Fighting Chance.